will be held by Mr. Ravindra Singh. He has a 7 years experience. He's a certified career coach and a corporate trainer. He's a learning and development specialist, and has acquired expertise in designing and delivering high quality and highly efficient training programs. And his commitment to help students grow in their career is immense. And he do take pride in sharing his knowledge to individuals to achieve their personal goals. So I will hand over this webinar to Mr. Ravindra so that he can take this up.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you all are doing well. Can I get a quick response on the chat? Can everyone hear me and see me? Athursh, Ayush, Bhakti, Ilma, Namra. I hope you guys can see me and hear me loud and clear, right? Wonderful, wonderful. I hope you all are enjoying your Saturday morning. Yes, wonderful. Okay. So, guys, I've been introduced, so I'll not take much time, and let's start today's Guru class, right? So, what we are going to discuss today in this session is how to do that transition from an applicant to become an employee, right? So, all you have a journey that you have traveled so far, right? From your school days to your colleges and then getting graduation or post-graduation degrees, and then start searching for jobs, right? And you all know that it's quite hectic and challenging at times to search for jobs. You're applying for interviews, you're not getting responses from your recruiters. That happens most of the times, right? Somehow, if you have managed to land a job, you do not find that very, very exciting. After landing a job into one of the companies, you realize that, okay, if I would have really put a lot of focus earlier and I would have tried a little bit harder, I would have landed a better organization than this, right? So how do you fix all these problems, right? How do you land a high paying and a sustainable job in one of the tech companies? That is something we are going to discuss in today's session in detail, right? So what is that interview process and how do you ace in those interviews, right? How you should comprehend means how you should understand what an interviewer is asking, right? How you should articulate means how you should present yourselves and give answers to the questions that has been asked by the interviewers. We'll go ahead and understand that all in detail, right? Are soft skills necessary or not? That question, remains there, especially for people who gets into tech sector or gets into IT sector. So they do not think that soft skills are that important because you're going on a development profile. You would mostly be developing things like websites or apps or softwares or APIs. So do you really need soft skills or not? That is something we are going to discuss in this webinar in detail. How you should build your resume, how your LinkedIn profile should look like, right? And if you have, a project where you should store your project so that you can, show it to your interviewers and get shortlisted. How do you do that? We are going to discuss that in today's webinar and in today's Guru class in detail, right? So shall we get started? I'll just wait for yes from you. And if you say yes, we'll start. And I'm expecting each one of you to pay a very close attention, grab a piece of pen and paper handy, and then make notes also. Because a lot of information that I'm going to disseminate in today's Guru class would really help you at some point in time of your life when you are ready to go into interviews, when you are ready to start your career. Okay, so can I get a yes quickly from everyone, guys? Bhakti, shall we start? Elma, Kashifa, Namra, shall we start? Guys, there is a chat option on your screen. You can click on that and simply type your message. Great. Thank you so much for responding. Okay. So I'm going to change the slides. I hope my screen is visible, right? Is it visible to everyone, guys? Right? So let's first of all talk about the problem. Okay. So there is one problem that students in India are currently facing, right? And it has been there since the time of inception, right? So I would like to give you certain figures here that every single year, har saal, nearly about 20 million students get graduate in India. Har saal, approximately 20 million students India में graduate होते हैं different streams से. Some are from technical streams, some are from non-technical streams, right? B.Tech, M.Tech, B.C.A, M.C.A, B.Com, M.Com, B.B.A, M.B.A, B.Pharma, M.Pharma, M.B.B.S, right? All these categories, right? But you would be surprised to know that out of these 20 million students, only 2 million, which means that 10% of the students that are getting graduate every year, only 10% or 2 million students are capable of landing the job on day one. Day one means it's not instantly after you have completed your graduation and you are going to get a job. It's the first interview, right? The day you give your first interview, there is only 10% of the people or 10% of the student out of 20 million who gets a job, right? Which simply means that 90% students are failing and there is a big gap there, right? It can be the knowledge gap, it can be the industry gap, it can be anything, right? It can be the skill gap even, right? So let's talk about that in detail. What is the root cause of this problem? Out of 20 million students, only 2 millions are getting job. What 90% people are making mistakes? That is something we are going to highlight now, right? So the first reason for this big gap is the lack of job relevant skills and domain knowledge, right? So what does this mean? Lack of job relevant skills. It simply means that the technical skill sets, the logical skill sets, or the skill sets that you possess are not capable enough to land or crack a job, right? Crack interviews. It simply means what you have learned in your graduation is not falling under the purview of what industry is using currently. I'll give you a very simple example. Okay. How many people are doing B.Tech here? Can you raise your hand? Anyone who is into B.Tech or B.C.A computer science or M.Tech or any other engineering courses? Can you raise your hand? Bhakti. Okay. Who else? Guys, there is a raise hand option. Okay, Ayush. B.Tech CS. What about Atharsh? Atharsh, what you are doing? Ayush, Ilma, Kashifa, Namra. B.Tech, Ilma. Okay. Okay, while I get responses from you, let me proceed further, right? So if you're doing a B.Tech computer science degree, how do you start? You start with one of the basic programming language or a coding language, right? It depends on your university now what they are going to train you on. It can be C, it can be C++, it can be Python, it can be Java, or it can be JavaScript, right? Then when you move into the second year of your college, you learn certain, OOPS concepts, or you call it object-oriented programming concepts, right? And how many concepts do you learn? 2 or 3, right? And that is it. After that, you start to learn data structures and algorithms, right? Now, what is data structures and algorithms? The way your data is converted into a digital format, right? Then upon conversion, how it can be transmitted, processed into the server, that all and the functionality of your application, your website, your API, it all depends on data structures and algorithms, right? So you learn that, but again, basics of DSA. Is that enough to crack the job? No, it is not. Is the programming fundamentals enough to crack the job? No, it is not. Then when you move into development phase, what do you learn? You learn JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. That is it, right? Then comes the final year, you'll be searching for an internship, and side by side, you'll be working on one of the projects, right? This is your entire journey of 4 years, right? You're going to spend 4 years into your college or into your degrees, right? And then when you complete that particular graduation, you go for jobs, you start applying for jobs, and then you see, right, 90% of the times your job skill sets are not even matching with the job requirements, right? Industries are asking front-end developers specialization in React JS, and you know JavaScript, HTML, CSS for development. Is that enough to get a high paying and a sustainable job? No. Is it enough to get a basic job wherein you can earn 2.5 lakh rupees, 3.5 lakh rupees per annum? Yes, it is, right? But tell me, guys, does it make sense? You have spent 10, 15 lakh rupees in a duration of 4 years in your graduation, and post completion of your graduation, you're going to land one basic job. I'm telling you that if a student is doing a BSc computer science, they can land that job very easily. How much money do they invest in 4 years? At maximum 1 lakh, the fee that they pay every single year, right? Maximum within duration of 4 years, it is going to be 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh rupees. Can they expect a job of 2.5 lakh, 3.5 lakh? Yes. But if you are doing specializations, you are doing degrees in technology. So how does it make sense for you to land a 20,000 rupees job a month? It's not good, right? It's not good for your career. After a year, you can expect a hike. How much hike you can expect? 5 to 30%. That depends on the bell curve. That depends on your performance. Thousands of metrics are there, right? That your employers will take into consideration, and then they will decide how much hike do you have to get, even if it's maximum 30%. So calculate if it's your salary 2.5 lakh rupees or 3 lakh rupees. Let's say, what is the 30%? 3,90,000. You're going to earn extra 90,000, right? After another year, right? On, let's say it's 4 lakh now. So another 30% hike, 5.2. Where will you be after 5 years? At a salary of 10 lakh rupees maximum, right? Similarly, at the same time, if someone has done a market research, prepared really well, right? Have taken certain specializations along with their graduations. Okay, so let me tell you this, that most of the times you have seen the brightest of the students, right? They do not stick to the curriculum, right? They purchase extra books, they purchase extra softwares, they go for extra, classes, right? It can be a tuition class, or it can be something that falls into the purview of development. They try to learn advanced frameworks for front end, advanced frameworks for back end, right? Advanced frameworks for application development, software development, API development, web development, right? And when you see, by the time they've completed their graduation, they get into big companies, right? Especially the product-based companies, right? What are product-based companies? Companies, those who creates and develops their own products, are called product-based companies. The biggest names in the industry are MAANG companies: Meta, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, right? The tech giants, you call them. And it's the dream of every developer or every IT guy to once work for these tech giants, right? But is it easy to crack the interview? How do you crack interview? I'm going to explain that all in detail, but let me give you a heads up. It's not easy to crack interviews with the type or the kind of learnings that you have, right? So me being a career coach, me being a career counselor, I have been in connect with a lot of universities lately in the northern region of India, right? And I've been speaking to the offices of dean staffs or directly to the deans and the principals of universities and colleges. And this is what I've learned from them, that Ravindra, we are failing to create job-ready candidates, right? And what is the reason? The reason is this industry gap, right? Industries are not having a direct linkage with these universities, right? One. Second, since there is no linkage, there is no bond, these industrialists or industries are failing to tell the education planners what they need to get job ready candidates out of these universities or colleges, right? So because of this huge gap, right, students are suffering, right? You people would suffer at some point in time if you're students or if you're already the working professionals, you know how it is going, right? So having said that, how to bridge that gap, we are going to, learn that in detail. So if you have the basic knowledge, just one moment, guys, right? If you have the basic knowledge, right, it is very tough to get a high paying and a sustainable job, right? Next is little or no exposure to real world skills or job preparations, right? Now let's talk about this in detail. By the third year or the fourth year, right, you're going to work on only one project, right? And trust me, there is only one project that universities will make you work on, right? That can be from front end, that can be from back end, or it can be the whole front end, back end, and deployment even, right? It can be an API, it can be the replica of one of the apps that you have, maybe Netflix, maybe Amazon, right? But is one project, working on one project gives you enough exposure to understand how you are going to work if you land a job in one of the tech companies? No, the answer is clear no. It is not enough, right? When you will go to an interview where they'll ask you how many projects you've worked on, right? You tell one. Okay, what kind of project is it? I created a crypto tracker, right? Okay, what part did you work on? Oh, so we were 100 students in a batch. We were divided into two batches, 50 each. So I wrote the code for front end, or I created the UI or UX, right? Is that all that you have done in this project? Yes, that is all I have done in this project, right? Okay, so sorry, because we are hiring an engineer who is well versed with front end and back end, and you just created the front end. I think we would have better options to, opt in, right? So they will reject you there, right? And if they ask you, show me the project, right? What you can do is you can simply give them the link, and that is it. Okay, is that the way to show your project? No, it is not. You should have a GitHub profile. You should give them the link. You should have a repository on your GitHub profile. Do you have that? No. The other person from other institution, they have it. I'll select them, right? So this is the reality during the technical interviews, right? So you need to have an understanding that when you are working on a project, it should be a core project, so that at least you can see how you are going to work on a project if you land a job in one of the tech companies, right? It should not be the case that, oh, I was told by my teacher that I have to create front end, I did my part, and I'll enjoy the rest of my days of college, right? No, that is how not this works, right? You should collaborate effectively in those projects, right? You should be there from beginning to end, from the creation of front end to the server movement, establishing backend scalable servers, then at the time of deploying it, testing the codes, debugging the codes, you should work effectively there. You should collaborate effectively. That is how you're going to learn. That is how you're going to answer to the questions that are being asked by the interviewers, right? The third reason is word of mouth career guidance. So this happens big time in India. India में बहुत होता है. हम लोग दूसरों को सुनते हैं. We have idols, and we are not sure whether our caliber matches that profile or not, whether we are really made for that profile or not, right? So this is the mentality in the northern region of India. If you have achieved 80-90% in your high school, you should go and take science for your 11th and 12th, right? Then if you have done their good, they'll tell you, okay, do engineering, right? Civil engineering, mechanical engineering, computer science engineering, this and that, right? Or if you are good with economics, right? Okay, we'll talk about economics later. Now, you didn't know that up till 10th, you managed to score 80%, 90% somehow, but you want to go into commerce line, right? You want to become a CA, a chartered accountant, or you want to try the economics, right? So, but your parents are telling you go with science. There is a strong possibility that you might not be able to secure very good marks in your intermediate, right? And then you're again being forced. Look at your maternal uncle, apne mama ko dekh. He is working with Microsoft. He did engineering in computer science. He's doing really well. But you're not good with computer science. What will you do? Right? You'll be forced to do engineering. You love mechanical, right? You wanted to create a bike, a super bike or car that you like, that you love, right? You wanted to design something in automobile sector, but your parents are telling computer science is the stream you should go, right? You'll go there and eventually you'll fail. Or it's vice versa. You're good with computer science. Someone in your family is in civil sector, right? They're settled in the Middle East. They're building infrastructures there. They're earning in dirhams or whatsoever the currency there is. They're sending money back home and they have good salaries, right? They have huge amount of money now within the duration of 10, 15 years. But has the industry changed? Yes, it has, right? Is the infrastructure available the same as it was 10, 15 years ago? No, it is not. Is there a competition in the market that was there 10, 15 years back? No, it has risen to the new level, right? And is your family holds a good amount of money so that they can send you Middle East countries? Do you have 20, 30 lakhs to invest in your child that you can go? The answer most of the times is no. What happens then? Your parents will go to a bank. They will take a loan of 20, 30 lakh rupees, right? They will give it to you. Then you'll go to one of the foreign countries. If you're not able to survive there, you're returning back home after 1 or 2 years. What will happen? You'll start doing a very basic job back home, and then you'll be involved in repaying the loan that your parents have taken for you, right? So we should not make such mistakes. How to avoid making such mistakes? Do an intensive market research. Look what is happening in the industry, right? Which particular profile can offer you the maximum job potential, sustainability, and at the same time, you get good remuneration when you work for that particular profile. So do an intensive research in the market. Then see how effectively you can stand on that particular role, right? How you can sustain in that profile and how you can start building your career, right? That is very, very important. Unprepared for jobs of tomorrow in the new knowledge economies, right? That is true. How that is true? You want to go into Amazon, right? Now you have learned JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and the basics of everything, right? Now Amazon, when they are hiring, let's say they are hiring a full stack developer, right? And they're hiring someone who has a good experience, right? Maybe you have worked on some projects, or as a fresher, they would want you to at least know certain frameworks. Let's say Amazon is working on Bootstrap. Do you know Bootstrap? The answer could be yes or could be no, right? They are using Node.js or a node-based backend platform for development. Do you know Node? No, you don't, right? Do you know AWS? You don't. There's a strong possibility that you would not be able to survive even the round 1 or round 2, right? There are 5 to 6 rounds when you're appearing for Amazon, right? So what is the outcome? There are 2 outcomes. One, you are going to fail drastically, right? And second, once you fail, it drops you down to your knees. You start doubting yourself, and self-doubt is very harmful, guys. The moment you will have the self-doubt, you will start to see the downfall in your career big time, right? So never let that happen, right? Learn from the mistakes that you're going to make or the mistakes that you have made. Try to solve, right? Try to figure out a way to come out of that particular situation. And the answer always lies within the question. Just write down that question on a piece of paper, right? I'm not able to clear the interview. What wrong I have done, right? Go back and see the kind of questions you've been asked. Do they really match what you have learned, right? 90% of the times, it would not match. So what is then? What is it? One thing that is required to be done from your end. You need now to learn. You need to upskill yourselves, right? You need to polish your existing skill sets and you need to learn new skill sets. That is how, after 3 months, if you get back, you would be able to clear that interview round, guys. Trust me. I've seen people doing it. I've seen people failing drastically, attending my seminars, webinars, asking me tens and thousands of questions. And there has been only one answer. And that one answer is upskill yourself, right? Invest next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? Dedicate yourself towards learning. And that is how, once you have the required skill sets, both logical and technical, you'll be able to ace it, right? I have helped people who comes from non-tech background, BA, MA, BCom, MCom, and I've seen them landing jobs in good IT companies, right? Swiggy, Zomato, Zoho, Paytm, Amazon, uh, not Facebook because Facebook doesn't hire from India, right? I've seen people landing job at Goldman Sachs, Walmart, uh, Morgan Stanley, right? And the jobs that they have landed are not, kind of underpaid, right? They were freshers and they have landed jobs of 18 lakh rupees, 24 lakh rupees, 13 lakh rupees, 28 lakh rupees, 40 lakh rupees. The highest that I've seen is 72 lakhs per annum at Oracle, right? And that too on a fresher's job, guys. Entry level, associate level job, SDE 1, software development engineer 1. This guy was offered a package of 72 lakh rupees, right? So what is the need? The need is bridging the divide or bridging the gap, right? So how you should bridge that gap is a big question, right? So there are, multiple upskilling platforms within your reach, right? They are available online, they are available offline. There are very limited of them who provides you with 100% live classes. There are very, uh, much of them who provides you with pre-recorded video lectures from where you can learn and then go into doubt sessions and learn that way, right? So it's totally up to you how you want to learn, right? Now there is a question from the students that I've heard most of the times. Can we learn from YouTube, right? The answer is a mixed bag of yes or no, right? When I want to say yes, you will learn the concepts. When I'll say no, you would not be able to experience that real time, which simply means you're going to look at a video, you're going to see how this person is doing this, right? A certain topic, right? Let's say he's creating a front end, right? Now he is creating a front end and he's giving you basic examples. You want to create something, right? The moment you'll start doing it, you'll feel like, I'm missing something. You'll go back to the video, rewatch again. Now there is a doubt. Now, what is the solution for this doubt? You will write that doubt on YouTube again and you're searching, right? So it's like a vicious circle and you're going on a spiral, right? Never ending spiral. So you'll have more and more doubts emerging. So the best way to learn is go for offline classes, right? Go for live classes, right? Whether they are available online or whether they are available physically, it doesn't matter. But you should have at least one mentor always with you that can gives you hands-on, right? That can provide you a guided path along the way, right? So you should also do an intensive market research on the requirement for those particular industries or both those particular companies where you want to go, right? It is very, very important because you never know what kind of questions you will be getting, right? So what is the solution? How do you get to know that what kind of questions are being asked, right? So there are thousands of platforms available online wherein you can search the MAANG test series, right? Or the MAANG interview series. You'll be able to see what kind of questions are being asked. Then prepare accordingly, right? Though I'm going to tell you all that in detail, but prepare accordingly, right? Speak with the people who are working in these organizations already. The best way to do that is LinkedIn, right? Connect with people on LinkedIn who are working in the tech industry from last 3, 4, 5 years, right? See which all companies they've worked with. See all what all positions they have acquired in this duration, right? Never be like, okay, this is some guy who is working at Amazon from last 5 years. I think he's really good, and you see that he is still on SD1 profile, which means software development engineer level 1, right? Within 5 years, this person could be at SD3 position. right? So reach out to people wherein you can see that there is a growth pattern, right? They've grown in their career from SDE1 intern to SDE1, profile, then SDE2, then lead developer, then lead project leads. Talk to these people. They are the experts of these industries, right? And they can really tell you how did they prepare and how you should prepare, what is changing, right? What changes have come in these few years, right? So connect with the experts is what I'm trying to say in simple words, right? I hope up till this point it is clear to everyone. Guys, if you have any doubts, any questions, raise your hand. I'll take questions from here. किसी का कुछ भी डाउट है, कुछ भी क्वेश्चन है, रेज योर हैंड. I'll give you a fair opportunity to voice out. आप मुझसे बात कर सकते हैं, आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हैं. If you do not have a question, write in the chat. No, I'll simply understand that you do not have a question. I just want to see how many people are active here. Tohid, you do not have a question, okay? Namra, Kashifa, Ilma, Bhakti, Ayush. Okay, Ayush, no. Ilma, no. Bhakti, no. Kashifa, what about you? Great. Now, since I could really feel that a lot of people who have attended this webinar are college students. So let's talk about what challenges you face as a student while you are pursuing your graduation, right? So the first challenge that you might be facing and you will face is managing the time, okay? Time management is very, very important for college goers, right? Guys, you would not understand it right now because when you step into the college, right, you do that thing, create a calendar, to do activities for a day, how much time you have to invest for studies, how much time you're going to invest in classes, what time you're going to have your lunch, supper, or your breakfast, what extracurricular activities you're going to do in certain amount of time. You create a calendar. Does that really work? No, it does not. Why? Because you are not in school anymore, right? You're in college. You will have people coming from different regions around the country, right? People with different mindsets, people with difference of opinion, right? People with different goals, right? And trust me, when you have a friend circle, there is always one person who will disturb you, right? They'll tell you, okay, yaar, kya kar raha hai padhai karke? Let's go and enjoy, right? There is a party tonight. Let's go there. Certain fests are happening in your city. Let's grab tickets and go there. So it's called influencing, right? You would not be the only one. Your entire group will get influenced, right? And that is how it starts. That is how you deviate from your studies, right? It starts with one outing with your friends, right? You'll really enjoy that. You see that, Afrojack is coming. There is a big, live DJ happening in one of the big playgrounds. You went there with friends. You'll really enjoy it because this is the first time you're doing it. Am I saying that you should not do it? No, you should do it, right? Not regularly, but eventually you should do it. It's good to freshen up your minds. But is it good to get addicted to certain things and leave what you've been doing, what you are here to do, which means learn and then someday land a good job? That is your purpose, right? That is where your parents are investing money in you, right? So manage time for everything, right? Never have that, divided attention. Always prepare your calendar in such a way that you get undivided attention, right? If for a certain day you have a, planned outing, just cancel everything from the calendar for that day. Invest your time with your friends, right? But do not get addicted, right? Manage your time. It's not only about learning, it's about practical learnings also, right? If you're giving 8 hours to your college, learning theoretically, right? Give extra additional 2 hours doing practical work, right? It should not be your homework. It should be practical work. You have learned how to create front end today. Come back to your place, open up your system, start creating a front end, right? Use basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It doesn't matter, but do it, right? That is how you will be able to learn, right? Manage your time. That is the key to success for students. Lack of clear goals and success criteria, right? So as you spend time within your university, the first year went by, the second year went by, the third year went by, you are in the final year of your college, you get the hang of a lot of things, and you then realize, then where I should be landing, right? By the time you've realized it, it's a little bit late. Why? Because you did not have the clear goals in your mind, right? You just thought that I'll do BTech, I'll do computer science engineering, I'll land a job in one of good tech companies, right? Now you are listening and you're hearing it from your seniors that I've landed job at TCS, buddy, and I'm working there for the last 3 months. I've been trained on so many things. Now I'm being, sitting in the paid bench because there are no projects. I really made a mistake. I should not have, gotten into TCS. I should have really tried to get a job in at least one of the startups, right? And trust me, these are the feedbacks that you will eventually get from your seniors, right? Or if you talk to people who have done the same computer science engineering, right? They'll give you this feedback that I've made mistakes. JavaScript, HTML, CSS is not enough here. When I go for interview, they were asking me different questions. They were asking me questions from object-oriented programming. They were asking me questions from time and space complexity, recursion. They were asking me questions from maths and number theory, data structures and algorithms, advanced algorithms. I could not answer. ये तो हमने कॉलेज में पढ़ा ही नहीं, हमारे टीचर्स ने ये तो हमको पढ़ाया ही नहीं, and that is the reality. That has been not the part of your curriculum. The curriculum that you have was designed 5-10 years back, and we have come a long way. The technologies that were being used 5-10 years back are no longer existing in the market, right? So that is where upskilling comes into the picture, right? So have clear goals, right? Have a clear aim that if I'm planning to land a job at Microsoft, I should learn all that it takes to land a job at Microsoft, right? Do a market research. Engineering students suffer from regulatory gaps, poor infrastructure, lack of qualified faculties, non-existent industry linkage that has contributed to the abysmal employability of graduates from most of these institutes. Now, when I'm saying most of these institutes, I'll not consider IITs or NIITs into the picture, right? They are the pioneers of education, guys, right? If you are a student of IIT, you will be learning experientially, which means 70% experiential or practical learning and 30% theoretical learning. And whatever you're going to learn would be in the linkage with the industry, right? If the industry is using a MAANG technology or a MAANG framework for development, right? You'll be learning MAANG. You'll not be learning basics like JavaScript, HTML, CSS, right? So the regular universities, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6 colleges, right? Still have the old curriculum with them, right? Then if you talk about faculties, most of the times you'll have one qualified faculty or 0 qualified faculties at all, right? There could be 10 different teachers for the same, topic, but half of them are non-qualified. And if you are learning from them, there's a strong possibility that this knowledge gap will remain there. It would not be fulfilled, right? No linkage with the industry. I already told you that this non-linkage has resulted in what? The failure. What is the failure? The employability failure, right? Out of 20 million, only 2 million students are capable of landing the job on day one. Why? Because they are not aware of what is being used in the industry, right? Lack of regular projects, capstone projects, experiential learning, right? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of a capstone project? If you know, raise your hand. Does anyone know what is a capstone project? Yes or no? Okay, I'll take it as a no then, because there are no responses. Yeah, Bhakti said no, sir. Right? So a capstone project means, in this particular project, it is going to be the replica of any ongoing project from one of the product-based companies, right? It can be the product of Apple, right? It can be the product of Amazon, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, Adobe. Let's say you want to create a platform similar to Netflix, right? So you'll be copying the entire code of this, Netflix, right? You'll be creating it from the scratch. First, you'll create the user interface, the front end of it. Then you will create the back end of it, right? And then you will learn how to put it onto database, how to manage database. Then you'll deploy it, right? So the end-to-end creation, development, and deployment of a project is called a capstone project, right? So how many capstone projects you should work on? At least 2 to 3 capstone projects can ensure your guarantee placements, right? Now let's talk about job opportunities in IT industry, guys, right? IT industry is huge. There are 1,000 different profiles, right? But if we talk about 3 major sectors, so these 3 major sectors are web development, data science, and cloud computing. Web development domain is the oldest in the industry. It's 33 years old, right? 1990 is when the first website was created and developed. It was more of like reading a piece of newspaper. There was nothing creative on that website. And from there, after 33 years, you've seen that now developers are thriving to create aesthetically pleasant websites, right? You look at the designing of these websites. You look at the codes that they have used. You look at the platforms or the frameworks that they have used. It's unmatched quality, right? And who are these people? Who are these developers? These are the best minds from the industry. These are the people who paid a lot of attention to their curriculum, to their studies. They were learning effectively. They were working on projects. They were, doing hands-on to everything that they were learning, right? And these are the people who are now earning crores in year, in every year, right? Their monthly salaries are like 5-6 lakh rupees, right? So if you're dreaming of such jobs, right, I'm going to give you the entire roadmap very short, right? So let's talk about the job opportunities now. Web development vertical, oldest in the industry, it can give you up to 48% job profiles within IT industry. So let's say there are 100 jobs available in IT industry, 48 to 50 jobs will be reserved for web development vertical. Then 17 to 18% job roles would be reserved for data science vertical. And similarly, for cloud computing vertical, there will be 7 to 8% job roles available, right? So out of 100, 48 to 50 profiles, 17 to 18 profiles, or 7 to 8 profiles for cloud computing vertical, right? So the highest number of job opportunities are provided in the web development vertical. And people are really focused to get into development vertical as of now. Why? There are multiple reasons. The first reason is IT sector in India needs more developers than before. Why? Because now we are ranking 3rd in the world in terms of startups, IT startups especially, right? Single-handedly for the year 2021 and 2022, India generated 144 unicorns, which is a huge number, guys, right? So there are a lot of startups, IT startups especially, that comes every single day, every single week, right? And gives a lot of opportunities for developers, right? Because when we talk about these entrepreneurs, right, these startups that are appearing, what do they need? They need to have their websites. They need to have their APIs. They need to have their apps. They need to have their own softwares. So who do they need? Developers, right? Now, who can do all this thing? Can create a website, can create an API, can create an application, can create a software. It is a full stack developer, not a regular developer, right? Or regular developers means a front end developer, a back end developer, right? A full stack developer is someone who can effectively work on the development and deployment, which means a full stack developer can handle all the work related to front end, back end, deployment, testing, database management, everything. This is the work of a full stack developer. And every product based and a service based company now is preferably hiring full stack developers. Why? Because full stack developers are cost effective resources, guys. Right? So right now, if you're planning to start your career in IT field, full stack development is the best profile to work on. Is data science the best? No, it is not, because a few industries within India are currently using data science domain, which is robotics domain, automobile, telecommunication, and healthcare domain. These four major industries are using data science big time. And since data science is not very old, it is 6 to 7 years old in India. So there is a limitation in terms of jobs, right? After 5-10 years, after 5-6 years, we'll have this number rising up to 28%, 90%, 28%, 30%, right? But for now, web development vertical, it's easy to learn. It's a high paying job, because regular developers, if I say a front end developer is earning 4 lakh rupees per annum, a full stack developer at the same time can expect a 2 to 3 times the salary of a regular developer, which means 8 to 12 lakh rupees can be your salary, right? And it depends on an organization. What are their budgets to roll out for that particular position, right? Now, having said that, if you're planning to go into IT companies, right, what all you should learn, what all it takes to crack interviews, right? So first of all, I'll talk in general, then I'll talk about this particular full stack developers profile, right? Your fundamentals should be clear. When I'm saying fundamentals, it means coding or programming fundamentals, from basics to advanced, right? You should have an extensive knowledge of that, right? Because you, being a developer, or if you're planning to go onto a developer's profile, you should be an excellent coder first. And what is the best language for coding? It is Java and JavaScript. It is not Python. It is not C++. Why it is not C++? Because it's a coding intensive language. Its runtime is very less, but the coding time is really high. The coding is really hard on C++. It's not entertained by interviewers anymore, right? Python, why is it not a good option? It's a trending technology. It's a new technology or a new programming language, right? It's a futuristic programming language. Why should we not learn that? Because Python gives you the access to libraries. And with the help of libraries, you can run and write your codes very easily. So that all is done with the help of libraries. Do you do manual codings there? Very less, which simply means that you cannot become an excellent coder because you are entirely dependent on a system or on a platform, right? So what are the best options available now? Java. It's a coding intensive language. It's a mixed bag of Python or C++, right? Which means that yes, you will be doing coding there, and manual coding is there. The runtime and the coding time is equivalent. So it is an ideal language for developers. Now, JavaScript, if you want to go into development, especially, right? Be it an application development, web development, API development, or software development, JavaScript platform has been the best. And JavaScript has been officially announced as the language of development, guys. Right? So you should learn Java or JavaScript if you want to be an excellent. Next thing, data structures and algorithms. That is the key to success, guys. If you're planning to get a job in Microsoft or MAANG companies, 80% of the questions that you will get in the interview rounds will come from data structures and algorithms. The question can be as simple as find the LCA of 3 nodes, find the kth character from the string, right? Strings, arrays, 2Ds, hash maps, right? You can get questions from there. So mostly the questions that comes during these interview rounds at MAANG companies, they comes from maths and number theory, data structures and algorithms, advanced algorithms, database management system, system designing questions. The questions can be of low-level system designings and high-level system designing, right? So you should know system designing as well if you're planning to get a job into tech giants, right? Uh, you should know how to manage database, right? You should know the technology assisted with database, right? So if you're planning, in simple words, I'll give this to you, that if you're planning to land a job at MAANG companies, one, you should be an excellent coder. Two, you should be excellent with data structures and algorithms. If I ask you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest, you should be able to say that I rate myself between 8 to 10, and that is where you will have the confidence to crack interviews at MAANG companies, right? Third, you should know MAAN technology or MAAN frameworks. For front end, now React JS, MERN. M stands for MongoDB, E stands for Express, R stands for React, and N stands for Node, right? So React, Express, and Node are JavaScript-based platforms. That is where they are called as React.js, Express.js, and Node.js. You should know all these. And then M stands for MongoDB, which is a database, Mongo database. And the language associated to it is MQL, Mongo Query Language. It's a no query structured database, right? So you should learn MAAN frameworks if you're planning to crack interviews for MAANG companies, guys. Except for JavaScript, HTML, CSS, jQuery, Ajax, DOM, JSON, Redux, you should know the basics. But advanced frameworks are the game changers, right? If you have learned advanced frameworks, it would be really easy for you to crack interviews, right? Now let's talk about what kind of interview rounds are there, right? Let's talk about this now, okay? So first of all, before you get a call from one of the big tech companies, what will happen is you will get an interview qualifier assessment on your email from your recruiters, right? You'll have to clear this particular online assessment. Why? Because it is going to act as a qualifier for interview calls. If you are not able to clear it, no calls from the product-based companies. If you're able to clear it, then there will be a call from the product-based company, right? Now, having said that, let's say you have cleared it. So what will be this online assessment about? 80% of the questions would be from DSA, DS Algo, or data structures and algorithms. And 20% of the questions will be from the remaining fundamentals of full stack development. If you clear it, you'll get a call from one of the product-based companies. Let's say it's a MAANG organization. You are getting a call from Microsoft, right? So at Microsoft, what will happen? First, you will be going through 2 technical interview rounds. There will be no interviewer. One person would come there, will take you to a system, and will tell you that this is a set of questions. There's a problem-solving round. Technical interview rounds means problem-solving rounds, and there will be 2 problem-solving rounds, round 1 and round 2, right? Each of the round will have at least 3 to 4 questions. Okay, so when you have 3 to 4 questions, these questions will have different complexities. When I'm saying different complexities, it means easy, moderate, hard, or extra hard. The questions can be of any level. It depends on an organization. It depends on a profile again, right? So you need to choose one of the coding language. They'll give you a platform wherein you can code. They'll show you the question, the problem statement, that this is the problem statement. This is the input that you need to use, and this is the output that you should get, right? Now, this particular setup will have a choice of any programming language of that you know. You can choose Python, you can choose Java, you can choose JavaScript, you can choose C, you can choose C++, right? So whichever you are using, you'll write your code there, right? You will run that code and you will see the accuracy, right? So for each question, you have a stipulated time frame. You will have to complete that question within those stipulated time frame. Let's say you have cleared round one, right? Again, the questions for round one and round two are mostly the coding questions that will have programming fundamentals, right? Time, space, complexity, recursion, object-oriented programming, and topic could be the part of these questions. Maths and number theory will be definitely there. Data structures and algorithms will definitely be there. Advanced algorithms is going to be there, right? You cleared round one. Similarly, round two have the similar set of questions, right? Same topics again. You need to clear it. So there are two technical rounds for MAANG companies, right? You clear these two technical rounds. Round three will be either a face-to-face or an online face-to-face interview round. Here, the interviewer can be the senior software developer, a project lead, or can be the manager of that particular domain, right? Who is hiring for this particular profile, right? This person will now be asking you a lot of questions, right? The questions goes as what all frameworks or what all technologies you have worked on, right? Now, if you're coming out of college, can you say, I have worked on Microsoft, I have worked on JavaScript, HTML, CSS? You'll say, what else? Now you will have a blank face, right? The moment you say, I've worked on Bootstrap, I've worked on Spring Boot, I've worked on Node.js, that is for backend, I've worked on React.js, I've created multiple front ends very effectively, I've created single pager applications using React.js, they'll be impressed, right? Because you know the advanced frameworks that they're using, right? So you are kind of a right fit for that profile. They'll ask you questions. What kind of projects you've worked on? Oh, I worked on 4 different projects. One was the replica of Amazon. One was the replica of Airbnb. Okay, can you show me? Okay. How will you show them? I did not bring my pen drive. Don't you have a GitHub profile? So you should have a GitHub profile, guys, right? You should add the link to that GitHub profile on your resume so that that interviewer can simply copy paste it on his screen and see the repository of your work, the timeline, the day you have started working on projects and where have you reached now, how much you have refined, right? So if you have a GitHub profile with at least 10 plus projects, there's a strong possibility that you will for sure get selected for that particular position, right? They might ask you basic questions from here, basic hygiene questions from programming fundamentals, basic hygiene questions from high-level designings, low-level designings, system designings, database management system, operating systems, right? You should be able to answer all of them, right? Round 4, it can be the final round of interview, right? Wherein someone super senior would come in, right? And they would assess you. Now, round 3 and round 4 are basically, you can say, the discussion rounds, right? Here you are exchanging your thoughts and telling your interviewers that what you are capable of and how you can really help their organization and can be a value addition to their organization if they hire you, right? So having said that, here, if you are a working professional, they will ask you questions from your past experiences. What have you done in the past? How did you have added value to the last organization? What kind of projects you have worked there? What kind of challenges you have faced? How did you overcome those challenges, right? And if we hire you, how you can be a value addition? So questions like, where do you see yourself after 3 years or 5 years? Questions like these comes in, right? What is your aspiration from our organization, right? Questions like this, wherein they are going to test your mentality would definitely come. So at that point in time, you should be very clever to answer, right? If you do not have the answer, try to escape. When I'm saying escape, find an alternative for the answer. Where do you see yourself after 5 years? Oh, I want to see myself in your position. Oh, are you planning to replace me? No, that should not be the answer. Right? The answer should be that I am planning to first super exceed the expectations for the role that I'm being hired for. Right? I'll meet the expectation I'll exceed the expectations someday. And if company sees me fit, I would love to take my expertise to the next level, right? Since I've been assigned to a lot of projects, first I will work on those projects, get them the success that they need. And later on, if I am the deserving candidate to lead any projects, I would love to see myself growing along with the organization. And I would love to see myself in a lead developer's position, right? Clever answers. That you are aspiring, you are willing to do anything that it takes to help the organization grow. So I see you as an interviewer, I see you a perfect fit for this role. I'll hire you, I'll shortlist you. If that happens, congratulations. The job offer will be on the table and you will be sent for the final round of, I would not call it interview, let's call it an HR round, wherein the salary discussions will happen, right? So when the salary discussions are happening, have good negotiation skills, right? Because sometimes what happens is they can tell you, because you're a fresher, that what is your expectation? You'll say, I think my expertise is worth 15 lakh rupees per annum. And I've seen on Glassdoor that you're offering this much of a package on this particular profile. They'll say, so sorry, that was from the before. Our budget is not more than 10 lakh rupees per annum, right? So have good negotiation skills there. Negotiate that. See, 10 lakh rupees, I do not have a problem, but I believe my, expertise is worth more than that, right? And since I've read multiple reviews, good reviews about your company, I really believe that, 15 lakh is not a big deal, right? I would, say that let's give each other some time to think and let's come to a conclusion, right? Do not straight away say yes or no. Ask for time, ask for 24 hours, 48 hours, right? This gives the time for them to analyze more candidates. And if they are not able to find a right fit, they'll call you and they'll say, okay, we are hiring you, 15 lakh is that we are going to offer you. Right? So that's all from my side, guys. I hope this information would have really helped you understand the dynamics of IT industry, dynamics of this transition from applicant to an employee, what all it takes. It takes a lot of hard work from you, right? It takes a lot of practical work that you need to do. Your learnings, you should impart 70% practical knowledge and 30% theoretical knowledge. Next, what all you should learn, I've explained that in detail, how you should present yourself, right? How you should answer. First, comprehend, then articulate, right? How you should do it. So this all together can help you really become an excellent candidate. And that is where you can have the dream career in technology. But the key is, again, upskilling, skill refinement, and specialization. What to do along with your graduation, figure that out. Now is the time. It will be very late during your third year or the fourth year, right? So start now, research, and do specializations. Okay, so that's all from my side. Thank you so much. Over to you, Vijay.
All right. Thank you so much for this lovely, informative webinar. I hope you all have learned a lot from Mr. Ravindra. What I'll do right now is I will be rolling out a poll to you to understand that if you want to know more about our program, the poll is here. This will be here for a minute. I want you all to quickly fill this poll. Now, I'll quickly brief you what the program will look like. It's going to be a program where our senior academic counselors will get in contact with you. And, it's going to be a total 6 months course where the 4 months will be for a specialization training in the technical knowledge. And then the rest of the course will be specifically based on how you can be prepared for interviews, how to crack MAANG companies, what are the questions they ask, how to build your profile, and stuff like that. So you still have about 30 seconds more left. You can quickly fill if you're interested to know more about the course, and someone from our team will contact you. So I see a few of you have already voted. I quickly want the remaining of you, if you can please vote as well. All right. Okay, we have got the voting that we needed. Thank you for joining in on a Saturday midday. You have a wonderful day and hope to see you successful in your life. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.